Come in.
Hey, Mola Njoh Litumbe.
Nice to see you.
Look at a young man. You look so young.
Well, you flatter me, but I am not so young anymore.
Okay, good to see you. Pa, I was about to talk about this SCNC issue.
Yes.
But because I'm worried by this dichotomy between what I hear from people like Aya Paul, Elad Ekontang on the one side, and Dr. Susungi on the other side.
Yes.
Elad and Aya say that there is no legal instrument binding East and West Cameroon. And I would like to hear your take as of that.
I see. You sit down.
Thank you, Pa.
We will begin with the two countries, French Cameroon and British Cameroons. They were two United Nations trust territories which were entrusted to the imperial powers, Britain and France, by agreements dated 13th December 1946, each of them to prepare their territory towards self-government or independence. Now, when France granted independence to French Cameroon on 1st of January 1960, it was in accordance with the agreement it had signed with the United Nations to prepare its territory towards self-government or independence. Because Southern Cameroon was a different country altogether, it did not attain independence on the same date as French Cameroon. So any talk of Cameroon being one and indivisible is at variance with the facts, because French Cameroon was a separate country from British Cameroons. In those days, to travel from here to Douala, you needed a laissez-passer or a passport to emphasize that we were two different territories. Now, on 1st of January, when France granted independence to French Cameroon, British or Southern Cameroon was still a United Nations trust territory, waiting for its own independence. Now, on 14th of December 1960, the UN passed the landmark resolution 1514, which stated that colonialism is evil and all peoples throughout the world who were not enjoying the fruits of sovereign independence should be granted unconditional independence by their colonial masters.
But I was not trying to cut you, because first of all we have memory problem in the camera. I just wanted to go really surgically to that point of legal instrument.
Yes.
Dr. Susungi maintains that Ahidjo and Foncha signed a document in Yaounde prior to the plebiscite, which tantamounts to legal instrument. And then he goes further to say that the Fumban conference, all of that may all come to represent an international recognition of that union.
No, there is a falsity in the claims of the learned Dr. Susungi. Southern Cameroon was not a free country which could determine its own fate. That's why I started by saying that it was a United Nations trust territory that was being administered by Britain. The property owner was the United Nations, and it entrusted the territory to Britain to administer and prepare the people towards independence. So when French Cameroon attained independence, it was without British Cameroons, because they were two separate countries. Now, you say that there was an agreement signed between Ahidjo and Foncha, prior to even yes, in which Dr. Susungi states that it is a valid
document that can stand for legal instrument.
Yes. Well, first of all, let me remind you that the United Nations is governed by a written constitution called the Charter. The Charter of the United Nations binds all countries in the world who are members of the United Nations. Indeed, in Article 103, the Charter recites that if a member state of the UN enters into agreement with any country and the terms are at variance with the provisions of the Charter, it is the provisions of the Charter which prevail. So, my answer to that is that no, that could not be possible because Southern Cameroon was a dependent territory governed by British administration.
So your argument is that there is no legal instrument?
There is none.
Correct.
There is none.
So now we are hearing that Biya is to come to Buea for the 50th anniversary, so-called, of reunification. You lead SCNC. What is your stand on that, if we may know?
Well, first of all, you cannot celebrate an event which never took place. You celebrate your birthday because on that day, so many years before, you were actually born. But if you were not born, there is nothing to celebrate. You celebrate the death of your father because he actually lived and died on a particular day. So a few years later, you have an anniversary of his death because you are celebrating an event which took place. Now, our position is this, that unless President Biya can show that at some point subsequent to his independence on 1st of January 1960, there is a contract joining Southern Cameroon to La Republique du Cameroun, then there is nothing to celebrate reunification. Besides, it can only be the unification of Southern Cameroon, if at all, to La Republique du Cameroun, but not reunification. Right. Reunification implies that there was something which was together, it was separated, and you are bringing it together. But the old term Cameroon with a capital K, German Cameroon, ceased to exist when Germany was defeated in the First World War and renounced all its colonial territories at the Treaty of Versailles in 1919.
I hear some words somehow of compromise, I would even call that, apart from going to the streets and really seizing that independence of Southern Cameroons. I hear Aya, I hear Ekontan asking Mr. Biya to come with an acceptance to sit on a round table and eye to eye we iron out this issue and know where we are taking the nation hence going forward.
Yes.
I would like to hear your own position on matters like that.
Well, my position is no different in the sense that SCAPO and SCNC as militant nationalist groups cited La Republique to court.
But take the phone call. You might just tell the person that he can call back or something.
Hello? Hello? Somebody who is persistent.
Yeah, very persistent.
2 missed calls. They're local.
Yes, hold this on my face. Yes, while Pa is about taking his phone call, we could just get around and We don't want to disturb his business. Before I came, I even came unannounced, just trying to count on my small name. And so Pa has been very nice to receive me without prior scheduling. So we'll just take a look at this man's house. Yes, you see a lot of books. You can see that. Yes, a lot of written work. And you can see that this Pa has been his own, and he's a very proud Bakweri man. Yes, a real Mola. You see the real traditional attire stating his case. And even you see again here, if I may venture, you see his name there, Njoh Litumbe Mola, with a little nice flower there in the center. Yes, you can see that a man who has walked his own. The time by this clock is 6:15 today, Monday, July 23. Yes, look at the collection of hearts. That shows you of this British type of a gentleman. As he goes around, he collects it, does a collection. So let's move back. Pa has finished with his phone call. We could go back and then try to close this other section before another phone call comes. Pa is very busy, especially given the fact that Buea still stands at the place where Paul Biya is coming pretty soon for the so-called 50th anniversary of reunification. So Pa, before the phone call came in, yes, we were on this issue that there may be need for dialogue in this country because it is really high time for one.
It is inevitable that when La Republique du Cameroun got their independence, we were not there. Difficulties have arisen. The matter has gone to a tribunal of the African Union, which has recommended that the two parties should get together and try and resolve the constitutional problem of whether or not they are one country. La Republique is hesitant. So that is why the vibrant Southern Cameroonian groups are now saying that if they are not prepared for a peaceful resolution of this problem, and you remember the United Nations was established in San Francisco in 1945 because they said that they did not want a repeat of world wars.
Like what happened in Germany, yes.
Yes, and therefore that if there is trouble brewing somewhere, they should exercise preventive diplomacy.
That's being preemptive,
yes,
proactive.
Yes, and avoid the loss of blood. This is a clear case when this preventive diplomacy should be exercised by the world body so as to avoid unnecessary bloodshed on a matter which can be thrashed across the table. If the people sit together and they cannot agree to live together,